have invaded the sacred precincts of private and domestic life, wrote Warren and Brandeis, and numerous mechanical devices threaten to make good the prediction that what is whispered in the closet shall be proclaimed from the housetops. This article is among the most famous legal essays ever written, and Louis Brandeis went on to join the Supreme Court. Yet privacy never got the kind of protection Warren and Brandeis said that it deserved. More than a century later, there is still no overarching law guaranteeing Americans control over what photos are taken of them, what is written about them, or what is done with their personal data. Meanwhile, companies based in the United States and other countries with weak privacy laws are creating ever more powerful and invasive technologies. Facial recognition had been on my radar for a while. Throughout my career at places such as Forbes and Gizmodo, I had covered major new offerings from billion-dollar companies. Facebook, automatically tagging your friends in photos. Apple and Google, letting people look at their phones to unlock them. Digital billboards from Microsoft and Intel, with cameras that detected age and gender to show passers-by appropriate ads. I had written about the way this sometimes clunky and error-prone technology excited law enforcement and industry, but terrified privacy-conscious citizens. As I digested what Clearview claimed it could do, I thought back to a federal workshop I'd attended years earlier in Washington, D.C., where industry representatives, government officials, and privacy advocates had sat down to hammer out the rules of the road. The one thing they all agreed on was that no one should roll out an application to identify strangers. It was too dangerous, they said. A weirdo at a bar could snap your photo and within seconds know who your friends were and where you lived. It could be used to identify anti-government protesters or women who walked into Planned Parenthood clinics. It would be a weapon for harassment and intimidation. Accurate facial recognition on the scale of hundreds of millions or billions of people was the third rail of the technology. And now Clearview, an unknown player in the field, claimed to have built it. I was skeptical. Startups are notorious for making grandiose claims that turn out to be snake oil. Even Steve Jobs famously faked the capabilities of the original iPhone when he first revealed it on stage in 2007. We tend to believe that computers have almost magical powers, that they can figure out the solution to any problem, and with enough data, eventually solve it better than humans can. So investors, customers, and the public can be tricked by outrageous claims and some digital sleight of hand by companies that aspire to do something great but aren't quite there yet. But in this confidential legal memo, Clearview's high-profile lawyer, Paul Clement, who had been the Solicitor General of the United States under President George W. Bush, claimed to have tried out the product with attorneys at his firm and found that it returns fast and accurate search results. Clement wrote that more than 200 law enforcement agencies were already using the tool, and that he'd determined that they do not violate the federal Constitution or relevant existing state biometric and privacy laws when using Clearview for its intended purpose. Not only were hundreds of police departments using this tech in secret, but the company had hired a fancy lawyer to reassure officers that they weren't committing a crime by doing so. I returned to New York with an impending birth as a deadline. I had 3 months to get to the bottom of this story, and the deeper I dug, the stranger it got. The company's online presence was limited to a simple blue website with a Pac-Man-esque logo, the C chomping down on the V, and the tagline, "Artificial Intelligence for a Better World." There wasn't much else there, just a form to request access, which I filled out and sent to no avail, and an